Welcome to Let's Talk Nigeria, the podcast where we unpack the stories, struggles, success shaping the hearts of Africa's giants. I'm your host, and each week we dive deep into issues that matter and the stories shaping Nigeria's politics, culture, entertainment, and everyday life, from the streets of Lagos to the hills of Jos. Whether you're in Nigeria or part of the diaspora, this is your space to listen, learn, and be heard. Let's Talk Nigeria because the conversation starts with us.
Oh God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Okay. Welcome to Let's Talk Nigeria. I'm here with two guests. One we've come to know, and a new guest on the show. I don't know, Ernest, could you give us a brief about yourself, brief information about yourself?
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Ernest Masara. I reside in Nigeria. Why are you smiling? Anyway, I reside in Nigeria. I'm a realtor. I'm also an engineer. I'm a graduate. Um, I'm doing well for myself, I hope. I have hobbies that I engage in. So I'm a very social person. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you for that. Today's topic, we are focusing on the development that's going on in Nigeria, such as the
Okay.
appointment of the new Minister of Defense. And over time, we saw the controversy that happened that led to his quick dismiss from Chief of Defense Staff by the President, and yet was nominated by the President to become the new Minister of Defense. Now, my question is, with General Christopher Musa stepping in as Defense Minister after Mohammed Wadru's resignation, will his decades of military experience translate into real improvement in Nigeria's security architecture? Meaning, would it show that him taking up the position as the Minister of Defense, he will be able to coordinate tactical movement for these our soldiers in uniform, or to tackle insurgency?
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. So my take on this is not because the news just started, becoming openly public. Understand? So I was on Punch News recently, and they were spouting a lot of insurgency because I don't think anybody has a concrete information about what is going on, except from the president and the chief of staff, honestly, and the vice president. That's what I feel because we are only receiving mainstream information, and most of them will be speculation. Most of them will be controversies that are not concrete. Yes, some public figures have come out and they've said things, or they've said opinions that they think the president is thinking. You understand? Like one I heard that they are saying is because it's a coup, or because of the coup, that's why they are changing the you know the security personnel. But I still see value in the change, because like I said, we don't know the full information. You get. So maybe this change is to better equip the government because insecurity is very high in Nigeria. We that are here, we're seeing it, we're living it. You get me?
Yeah.
So I would say if this change is for the Nigerians to feel safe, then it's valid. You understand? Yes, there are controversies. Yes, there are going to be conspiracy theories around every decision the government makes. But I believe this change might drive us to a new path for these security issues we have in Nigeria. Because the insecurity rate is very high. There are a lot of banditry, a lot of kidnapping recently have gone very high. Everybody's on the edge of their seats waiting for the next thing to happen or for the next news to drop. You understand? So everybody's on the edge. Everybody's talking about it. It's on the news. It's on
Okay,
Twitter.
uh, AKB, do you have anything to add?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of information, previously we discussed whether or not we've been lied to. But in terms of information, what information is, I think as Nigerians, it's safe to say that unless we receive set informations from the heads of departments, what I mean by that is presidents, chief of army staff, chief of defense staff, unless we hear it from the horse's mouth, we really can assume any other thing to be speculation. You see mainstream news, whether in channels, you see mainstream news, whether in Arise or all of these news outlets. And time and again, we see one thing being reported, and days or hours later, said information is already being disputed by government officials because it doesn't favor their agenda or the news coming speaks ill of them. So we preference our comments by simply stating facts of everything going on in this country. Indisputable facts. And the fact is, insecurity right now is, I think, in large ways, we're at war. One can say, oh, war, nobody has declared war. You don't have two sides fighting against each other and blowing up each other with tanks and guns and so on. But in large ways, we're at war. I mean, war is next to what is currently happening in this country. Our insecurity levels is at the highest we've ever seen in this country. People are afraid to walk out at night. People are afraid to sleep. People have to sleep with one eye open. People are resorting to defending themselves as best as possible with unauthorized illegal weapons. So, the appointment of this new defense minister, first of all, I was happy to see what I was happy to see politically in this country was that the former defense minister resigned. When have we in this country seen the head of department take responsibility to that degree and say, look, I've not done a good job. Let me step aside.
I
We experienced it.
don't you feel the president might have taken that decision to put this Christopher Musafa as the new Minister of Defense?
He certainly took the decision. Only the president can make that kind of appointment.
Yes, he can.
If in fact somebody else is making this appointment, then we are in deep shit. We're in big trouble if somebody is making that kind of appointment. We need to be able to hold these guys accountable. And the buck, as in its entirety, in terms of safety, securing the lives and properties of Nigeria, the buck stopped at the president's table. The president has to make moves in the best interests of the country. If in fact this new person has been appointed with years and years and decades of military experience, one would believe that said person should be able to come in with that kind of experience, with that kind of education, and make these changes, deploy military personnel, deploy security personnel, catch these guys. Where have we heard said people have been arrested? You hear this person has been freed. How were they freed? Where are the culprits? Nobody has said anything about that. So it all falls back to accountability. If this person can in fact come without political agenda, that's what these guys don't realize. Can we have people come in and sincerely work in the interests of Nigerians?
Okay.
Safety.
Okay, moving on, right? We all have come across the video that Christopher Mustafa came out stating and giving the army the go ahead to target these terrorists if they see them or if they are threatening their communities before he was outrightly told to leave office by the president. Um, do you think he still has that strength or measure in him to make such decisions now that he has been given the position as the Minister of Defense?
That's that circulates, I think, in his rank and ability to do that. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I mean, that's his office. He has been put as the new chief of staff, and he has responsibilities to take over. He has things that he needs to put in place, things that he needs to do that his predecessors did not do, things that he has to put in place to help the Nigerian armed forces to work together to stop any insecurity that is coming from outside the country or within the country. That is his prerogative. That is his job. So if he's going to do that, I would say yes, it's in his right to do it.
Okay.
That's yeah.
I definitely agree. And what I'll go ahead and add is that if the general has been appointed as the Minister of Defense, it should be within his rights and within his jurisdiction to be able to take military action as the Minister of Defense, reporting to the president.
The president.
He's not going to carry out. He's not going to carry out his decisions magnanimously.
No.
Do you
But
believe? Do you believe that?
if it is-
Do you believe that Tinubu made this decision based on reports coming up that the US is pressuring Tinubu to take out his current Minister of Defenses due to maybe alleged association with terrorist group? Do you think that's one of the reasons Tinubu took the decision to sack Christopher as the Chief of Defense Staff and make him Minister of Defense?
That is definitely a bold choice. And like I said, the information is not concrete, but yes, there is information. So sacking the former chief of staff might come from that, in a sense where if he was not doing what he was supposed to do to block insecurities or to block the bandits, to find the culprits that are, damning this country, putting this country through hardship, putting people and lives and properties, damaging everything, killing people. Do you understand? If he was not doing his job and they said, look, we are suspecting you that the reason why you're not doing your job is because you're in cahoots with these people. You are working hand in hand with them. It might be it might not be it. He might not be working with them. But if the president took that action, that means they have investigated the people or the former chief of staff. They have done their findings and they've seen that okay, this person is not entirely out of the realm of doing something like this. And yes, his decision is valid. Like I said before, the insecurity is very high. The same way people are calling out to remove the president because things are not working. So he's pushed in a position where he has to make decisions, hard decisions. If that is the decision he's going to make to increase security in the country, I would say he should go along with it, stick to it, and put emphasis on the new chief of staff to work, to do things that his predecessor could not do.
Okay.
Directly answering the question, is in fact the United States of America involved in Tinubu's decision to sack General Christopher initially? Could happen. Stranger things have happened, and it's certainly not out of the question that the US might have been involved somehow in his firing. But what I will go ahead and say is, why did he take? What I'll go ahead and ask you, why did he take intervention from the United States? A statement made by President of the United States, Donald Trump, calling Nigeria a disgraced country, threatening United States military action in Nigeria. Why did he have to take all that for decisions to be made? if in fact this Minister of Defense wasn't doing a good job, and if in fact should have been fired, why did he have to take this made by Donald Trump and the President of the United States for these actions to be taken? Why do we have to wait for, we call it mental after death? What happens to lives lost already? Fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, what happens to their own lives? Being killed by the hundreds, by the thousands at rates we've never seen. Why can't we for once say, look, and it goes back to my earlier comment saying, as head of department, being able to be true to myself, I tell myself, look, I've not done a good job. Let me step aside. And if some person doesn't want to step aside, the president, why can't you stop? Of course you can stop. Why did he have to pay the US president to pay this thing? And then for everybody to be running up and down, oh, Nigeria is a sovereign nation, we cannot do that, we cannot do that. And we will address the insecurity. Really.
I think I agree with your point in a sense where we don't have our own backbone. It feels like we're not standing our own. It's only when the US sees a problem and said, oh, we want to take action on this problem, that our government will not be like, okay, let us push more, let us give more acknowledgement to that problem. It's not like they're not seeing the problem. The problem is there, it's getting to their offices. The information is reaching them. I know it is reaching them because they know what is going on in those states. They take control of the whole country. Like this, like you said, they said Nigeria is a sovereign country, that we should fix our own problems. So I know that they know the problems in the country. They know the problems in each state. I am aware. They know the situation in each state. Because they hold annual meetings, they hold meetings anytime there are problems. Each state, each defense staff from each state reports to the higher command. It's a chain of command. Information gets, they go up. So it always takes outside intervention or outside eyes. It now looks like we're doing, there's this term in, what do they call it, like when you only tidy up somewhere when you know somebody's coming or somebody's looking. That's what I'm saying. Yes, eye service, thank you very much. It's like we're always doing eye service. It's only when we have problems and the outside have seen our problem and we want to fix our problem. Or that's when we start talking about our problem. Because this insecurity is not affecting everybody. So not everybody will be as keen to talk about it as the people currently living it.
Yeah.
So if the insecurity is where you are, you want to voice out. You want to cry out.
Yeah, well, speaking on that, yeah, insecurity has. I know you're not from the north yet, but I want to hear your own perspective of this ideology, like what you think about the people in the north, or what do you think about what's going on there. So, with what you said, right, insecurity has been ravaging the north for as long as we know, but yet they have never really created awareness on actually what is going on there. Maybe it could be because they don't have the technology or they don't have the education or one thing or the other, but they always rely on the South to voice out what's happening, and then it all falls back to the South collecting the blame or being part of the culprit in these situations. Why do you think the North haven't had the ideology to stand up and say, no, give us what we are supposed to be given, or demand their full rights as citizens of Nigerians, as citizens of Nigeria? Sorry.
Well, I have traveled to some states in the north. I have an opportunity to move around. So I've gone to some states in the north, and I think I've lived with the people there. And I would say the insecurity is not just there. Yes, it is higher there because the higher rates of killings are there. Insecurity is everywhere in Nigeria. The southeast, the south itself, the south is also the northeast, north central. Everybody is actually facing this issue. Try and find. But yes, it is concentrated there because our borders to other countries are easily accessible there. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So most of the times, other countries' insurgencies are leaking into our country to hide and source for, a way to live or the way to cover themselves. Do you understand? So those places are very scanty. if you've been to the north is, it looks like, sometimes it looks like a desert. You see one house here, another house is like way, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying they are poor, but the standard of living is not as much as it is from north central below. Guys, I'm talking about deep in the north where these issues are actually, you understand? So I would say that those insurgencies leaking into our countries are getting access too easy. They're getting access too easy, and sometimes they will corrupt our own people, teach them their way, get. That's why most of the times you see kidnappings are very high. Children kidnappings are very high. Because children are very perceptible. They are easily changed. They are easily manipulated. They are easily controlled. So they will get young boys. I don't know if you've seen the video of the church that they attacked and killed a lot of people at. The people that were doing the killings or the people that were doing the executions were teenagers. They were teenagers. I don't think I was doing something like that when I was a teenager. I was playing. I was probably. What? I was probably playing ball. Honestly, I was probably playing ball at my front of my house or something. But look at what these children are going through. With that kind of training, they will give to them. Tell them that, look, this is your passion, or this is. They will instill that passion in them, instill that mindset in them. They don't even see it as abnormal.
Yeah.
So when they send them on errands or on missions, they carry it out easily because they have been so ingrained in the thought. You understand?
Yeah.
So why these insecurities are so high is because we have easy access to our borders. That's why I think
Okay.
it's
Okay.
too easy for insurgencies to come in.
All right. Moving on. I'll get back to the border thing because the new Minister of Defense also mentioned a time when he was Chief of Defense Staff that a border needs to be built between us and our neighboring country. And I also discussed with a guest before on the show that he suggested that we have good relationship with our neighbors, which I feel it's good because that's one of the major ways you can encircle these terrorists and take them out while protecting your border, because like you said, the border is basically open. Next question is, with this new scrutiny that Christopher Musa is about to inherit or has inherited from the defense system, which is majorly under scrutiny because of the killing of the former general and the fact that the Nigerian military have not been able to overcome these terrorists in a matter of 17 years down the line and counting. And now the president has ordered that there be recruitment processes into the army. Report has it that they adopted 4 directors of the defense. Should we say that every man for themselves in Nigeria as it is, as even the directors of the defense ministry cannot save themselves?
Well, if in fact we are going to say every man for himself in this country, we might as well not have a government. We might as well go back to, just. And if you don't have leadership, if you don't have leadership, how can a country work? It all goes back to leadership, accountability. What are we talking about here? Should the president be applauded for going ahead to recruit new military personnel? Absolutely. But again, how do you go further to equip these guys? Not just in recruiting them. You can't recruit people and send them to their deaths. Weapons, technology, training to go along with the numbers that then allows them to go and wipe out these terrorists. Which begs the question, if in fact we can do these things, why are they not being done? Is it a political issue? Is it, are you turning it into a political issue for election's sake or for whatever ulterior motive? Why can't just things be done in decency and in order? So the president, I'm sure, is taking the right steps. information is getting to him from his underlings, should I say, from all the defense ministers, chief of army staff ministers, the inspector general of police, all of these people report to the president. So the president is, again, we are severely under-policed. There are so many issues that have piled up and are amounting to the problems we are seeing today. Nigeria is definitely severely under-policed. I think the European standard for policing is around 5-1, 5 civilians to 1 policeman or 1 military personnel. In Nigeria, we said the other day, the number is something like 150 something to 1. That is, we're severely under-policed. So the president should be applauded for going ahead to recruit new security personnel and military personnel. But again, you can't send people to their death. We need to be sure that these people are compensated well enough, are put in positions where they cannot be politically manipulated, and then they go ahead and do their jobs. We have a lot of people who are not doing their jobs from the top. It starts at the top. But we have too many people, not all, not most, but too many people are not doing their jobs in this country.
Okay, Ernest, do you have anything to say or to include?
Honestly, not much. I think he really covered that very, very well. I like what you said, because sometimes it still boils down to the welfare of these people, these soldiers per se. Yes, you want to recruit soldiers. What is the incentive? None of us know there's insecurity. That means you're telling me to come and die. That's what you're telling me. So what are the incentives? What are the kind of things that you've put in place? It's not just about changing the chief of staff. It's not just about changing personnel every single time you hit a roadblock. What are you doing to give these soldiers incentives? What are you doing? Now, in terms of funding, according to some, security analysts, they say that the military collects one of the highest budgets
They do.
for.
Around $2.9 billion.
They do. You understand? So to show that, okay, the government is funding, but are they looking for more funding? Is that the issue? Because there are a lot of people entering the army, and a lot of them are leaving because they are not seeing the use of serving their. Because the military is basically to serve the country, is to police the country, is to keep safety as number one priority in Nigeria. So if they are not doing their jobs, insecurity is going to be so high. And now, why are they not doing their jobs? You have to ask that question. Why are they not doing their jobs? Maybe most of them are not satisfied with what is going on in the country. Maybe they're not being paid well. Maybe they're not giving bonuses that attract loyalty. Understand? Because you cannot just buy loyalty. It has to be
Exactly.
It has to be in a system built in your body, because the government is giving you things that can help you live, and you're saying that, okay, the government is doing things for me. Let me do back for my country. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's why this Japa culture is so high. Because most people are putting in the work, but they're not seeing the effort for their work.
We have one of them among us.
Okay, moving on.
But yeah,
Reports has it that people or analysts have come out to say that Boko Haram have infiltrated the presidency itself. There has been assumptions and accusations that within the presidency itself that these people have their hands in. And like I spoke with one of our guests on our former show, that there's been a content creator, I don't know if I'll call him an explorer, that has been to the north, Borno, and he's showing what is going on, their activities. And he mentioned that there are certain groups of these terrorists. That you have the Shekau group, you have the Al-Bakari group, and so on and so forth, ISIS, ISWAP, and the rest. And they all have their own ideology, their own function, what they believe in, and what they do. Now, with that information, now analysts say that Tinubu, when he was coming up for presidency, he tried to play all those groups. I'm not saying he knows them. But I'm just saying that from the analysis, they've noticed that these groups have either one of their leaders within the current government or have a hand in power. What do you have to say about that, even with the different moves the president is currently making in targeting or ending insecurity in the country? Do you think with these informants within the presidency and other sectors of the Nigerian government, the Nigerian system would still be able to handle their security architecture or protect their security architecture?
I would say, in terms of security, when it comes to the aspect where you're saying they are informants or they are, double crossers, spies in the Nigerian military and the Nigerian government and the Nigerian presidency, the thing is, we can't know for a fact because most people hide their skeletons so well that you cannot find it. That's how I see this playing out. Yes, you sack chief of staff on the assumption or the premise that he might also be involved in giving intel to the insurgents and giving them amnesties, not amnesty, but giving them funding, giving them weapons. Because how are they getting these weapons, first of all? So who is sponsoring that? How are they eating? How are they feeding? You can't just, okay, let's say since they're in the forest, let's say they are planting their own food. Let's rule out food. But how are they getting ammunitions? How are they getting weapons? People might say, oh, they are using the kidnapping fundings to allocate for that. But that's not enough for the amount of weapons that I see that they have. Okay, where are they buying the weapons from? If it's not from the military, if it's not from the ones that already have those guns provided for them.
There could be companies
So that's
making
not what
it.
I'm saying. Okay, they can buy from the companies. So that's true. That's okay.
Because I saw a video
But
whereby
but
I
they,
saw a
they
video
still they
whereby the
still need
military.
sorry, let me add this. They still need permission for those things to cross the borders. That means people are
No,
looking away
I mean
from these things happening.
there are companies in Nigeria that make guns. They are very just
Oh, okay.
very small and low key and shit like that. But I'm sure they are
Oh,
there.
I can see why I did not know that.
Yeah,
Most
they
of the
are.
times I thought most of our weapons were imported.
I think
Honestly.
there are some guns that I know that there are some companies in Nigeria. You just never know. Funny enough, or maybe it's not like a public company that pays tax and all those things. It could be one
Yes,
local
yes.
person, welder from Sokoto or Enugu, just doing ta 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 and making gun. It's not that hard, and ChatGPT can give you the answers. Your spring load and all of that. It's quite crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying. So the part I'm really shaking about is the funding for me. Because these people are thriving. They're not just living, they're thriving. So how is it that we have a military in place and they've not even caught one person? I've not heard on the news since this whole thing started that they've caught one person. Let me give you an instance, one example. In the south here, when we had a lot of militant issues, you see that we were giving amnesties to people, and we actually knew the people that they gave amnesty to. That means we knew the people that were causing these issues and the ones that were helping to stop whatever was going on. We saw evidence that people were actually being caught and being let go, maybe because of good behavior, or they changed sides and tried to help the government instead of destroying properties in Delta region. Do you get? So now the government was still funding that, in a sense where there were two groups: the ones that wanted to destroy and the ones blocking the people destroying. Because the militants were fighting each other, basically, with the help of the government from the good side or from the part that wants to stop the destruction. Do you understand? The military was not even that involved in the stopping of that, crisis that we had in the South here.
Yeah.
So I think that's the same play that is going on there. Like you said, there are different groups with different ideologies. I mean, the terrorists are not just one group. And I think that's what most people don't understand. They feel like everything is Boko Haram. But there are different insurgent groups in Nigeria that are causing issues in every state. They are sending small, small spies in each state. And you don't know when they will do it because our borders are so open. And that's why I think it's happening in this country. And we need a firm hand to actually hold this situation down. And I don't think we've gotten that in years.
Do you have anything to say, AKB?
Again, I would say this. What we can agree, undisputed, is that there's corruption in Nigeria.
Now,
Now, what is subjective is to what level? At what levels is this corruption happening?
210 trillion naira.
If in fact government officials are invested in the killing of Nigerians, I mean, what are we talking about? It will be the biggest, again, like our guest said, like Ernest said, these guys hide their skeletons very well. It will be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to come up with undisputable proof and evidence that said people are involved in the financing of this terrorism. But for a government, I'm talking about for an individual, how can you and me, or you and I, as in where do we even begin? If you say, let's find evidence that a government official is sponsoring terrorism, where will we even start? But for a government, what are you talking about? How hard is this thing really? Is it as hard? Are we really making easy things? Why do we make easy things difficult for ourselves? How hard is this thing? How are they getting their weapons? Air, land, sea. You have your Air Force, you have your Navy, you have your Army. The weapons are getting to be underground, where? The weapons are getting to you somehow. I tell my security operatives, look, any ship, unauthorized ship coming across into the waters of Nigeria first of all, and then across the border into seaports and so on, I gun it down. If you're unable to identify yourself and identify what's in your cargo. Planes that are coming in, cargo planes coming into this country with goods and consumables and whatsoever. If it's unidentified, we confiscate your plane, we confiscate your carrier, we confiscate your products. Not just weapons. Any unidentified, we confiscate it. If it's on land, you have checkpoints. I mean, if you're going to travel, let's say on a journey from Lagos to Abuja, in total, I don't think you would pass less than 75, 80, or even 100 checkpoints. So you have checkpoints on the streets, checking the trucks moving in transport, checking normal people traveling, trying to ensure some level of safety. So if I meet with these operatives, my Air Force general tells me, look, they are not getting their equipment by air. I meet with the chief of naval staff, he tells me they are not getting it by water either. I meet with the chief of army staff, he tells me they are not getting it by land either. So how are they getting it? Is it just to fire the three of you?
where do you want to
You have
start
a lot
from?
of people. You have a lot of people who are not doing their jobs. They are getting it somehow. How difficult is it? Why can't we break it down into simple units and investigate? Land, okay, we have adequate checkpoints, not without corruption or without prejudice. We have adequate checkpoints, checking these trucks, checking these cars or whatever, and I know weapons are not there or any illegal substances are not there. I have my Navy on the water, checking every cargo ship coming, no illegal weapons coming in. I have my Air Force and customs and so on, checking things coming from cargo planes and helicopters and whatsoever, no weapons coming in. And then you checkmate, and I tell myself, okay, now it's impossible for them to get new weapons to themselves. It's not a matter of me taking them out because they cannot get brand new ammunition. It's that simple. I don't know why it seems difficult.
Okay, before I let you guys go now, the major question, the question that breaks the camel's back, is Nigeria at war?
War. I can't conceive it because I've never been in it. But I think we've had a past relationship in war, and it did not end well. And we are still seeing repercussions where tribes are still against each other because of the animosity that happened between each other. Like when you see the Igbo people and the Hausas, they are always against each other because of what happened in the past.
You mean Igbo
So,
and Yoruba?
yeah, the Yoruba and the Hausas, actually. Because the Hausas and the Yorubas were together when whatever happened to the Igbos happened to the Igbos. That's why they are still very, you know, they still feel some kind of way because these stories are still being passed down. That's how most of us learn through history. That's how most of us get to where we are. We learn from history. So we don't want history to repeat itself. Nobody wants history to repeat itself. Where look at the war-torn countries right now. All of them are being after the war, they enter economic states of like they go down. Disgusting. That's the word to use. They go down. So our country is already hard enough as it is. It's already hard enough as it is. You can't bring in war to this mixture. So I think, you know, changing this chief of staffs might be to stop that from happening. In the sense where Tinubu took this action to show the American government that okay, look, we are dealing with this issue ourselves, or we are starting the process, or we are doing something to stop insecurity in our country, so that they will not send their forces here. But if they send their forces here, we all know that they are a set of people that don't take terrorism lightly. They don't take it very sweet. They don't negotiate with terrorists. That's one of their largest motives when it comes to terrorism. So when they come to this country, they don't want to know if you are part, if you are not part. Because a lot of people in the north are not part of it. They are suffering. But when they go into, they don't want to listen to anybody. I'm not part of it too. They don't want to hear it. To them, everybody is part of it. Because why have you not snitched, or why have you not called out that, look, I saw so, saw some suspicious activity in this forest that I was close to, or in this area where I saw some suspicious activity. Nobody's reporting it. Because they are also scared what will happen to them if they report it. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ikibi, do you have anything to say?
Are we at war? We might as well be. We might as well be. The problem with the history NS is referring to is we were essentially at war with ourselves. But can we declare war on terrorism? I don't think that's a bad thing to say. Can we outright declare war as a president? Can I say, look, no negotiations, no mercy, just an all-out obliteration, a shoot on sight? If you are seen to be involved in any form of terrorism, you can call it lights out. We can do that. You can't declare war. We saw last year, 2 years ago, when the new minister of the FCT was inaugurated into his office. Came into Abuja and he says, look, why are there beggars everywhere? And he came out in his press conference and said, look, I'm declaring war on beggars because I cannot have the capital of the country. You have all international bodies, you have visitors, you have people coming to do business, and you come in from the airport, the first thing you see are just beggars on the road. To him, it was something embarrassing. What did he go ahead and do? He said, I declare war on beggars. So why can't we do the same? If there is really a problem that ails us to a catastrophic degree, like is going on with insecurity, why can't you declare war on terrorism and say, look, the courts, not that justice should stay aside, but the courts should stay aside, due process should stay aside. We really are at war. When I walk into, if my military comes into a region, for example, a terrorism region, it's going to be no mercy, it's going to be all out obliteration. We're going to destroy these people and their homes and their properties and so on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just to ensure our safety and ensure some form of normalcy again to this country.
Okay. Thank you for that. I do appreciate having you guys here on the show, on this episode as we are talking about Nigeria. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Have a nice day.
Amen.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace, oh, back to honor it, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so